What you've just seen is CCTV footage recorded at our next location, which shows a glass mysteriously moving by itself, and on a completely separate occasion, another glass spontaneously exploding at exactly the same place in the pub. Could this, as well as a number of other accounts from the building, point towards a haunting at the new Wellington pub in Newmarket? After the closure of the former Wellington pub in the town centre in 1931, the licence was transferred to this form of veterinary surgery on Cheveley Road in Newmarket, and the pub opened as the new Wellington a year later in 1932. The pub is today a popular spot for both locals and visitors to the area, with a restaurant and regular events being held. It's in these last few years, however, that strange occurrences have been witnessed by both patrons in the pub, as well as the landlady Georgina Sampson, who we caught up with before our investigation. So first of all, thank you very much for having us in your pub this evening. First thing obviously is the CCTV footage of the glasses smashed. Now you've told me this isn't the only time it's happened. It has happened other times. It's not been captured on camera. First thing I'd imagine people at home would be wondering is, were the glasses warm when the beer was put in?
Definitely not. If it was a Saturday night or a busy night, then I would say possibility, but it was a Wednesday, I think, and I just know we weren't busy enough for us to even consider doing hot glasses, so I know that wasn't the case.
And the thing with that as well, as you said earlier, it had been in there, it'd been sitting in the glass for a little while before it exploded.
Yes, he ordered his drink, ordered his dinner, then went and sat at the table, was waiting for his dinner at least 10 minutes, I would imagine, before it then exploded.
Yeah, and like I said, I certainly don't think that was the case. It's just obviously that's something people would probably be wondering, so thought we'd get it from you to check that wasn't the case. As well as sort of the glasses moving, we've spoken to a few people in the pub this evening. They said they've seen it with their own eyes, glasses moving by themselves. What other sort of things have happened here?
When I've been serving behind the bar, I've felt, I don't know if it's like a wind, but I've definitely felt, when you just feel like a motion behind you and you look to see if someone's behind you. Obviously when we're working behind the bar, you do take notice of other people working around you, and there's never been anyone behind me when I've felt like that. So we do have dogs here sometimes, and I've looked to see if it was a dog behind me, and there's just nothing there, but I've felt something around me.
It's all quite physical things that are happening.
Yes.
Have you anything been heard or any sightings, or has it more so been sort of the feeling of something there?
Yeah, the feeling. My mum, when she's been cleaning in the morning, she sometimes hears noises, but I guess she just puts it down to being a random creak or something in the building. So, but she has heard. She thinks there's something.
Yeah.
There as
Well, hopefully, like I say, it's first investigation here, so I'm hoping we'll be able to document something, whether how small or how big it is. But I think it's going to be quite an interesting night, and certainly for you, I'd imagine it'd be quite interesting to see if we can.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see if we find it.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. And on that note, I think let's get this underway. For our investigation, we were joined by the Steeple Bumpstead Ghost Hunters, along with Georgina and a few regulars to the pub. Although we usually try and keep groups small whilst investigating, much of the activity here has indeed taken place while the pub's been open, so having a group of people take part may replicate these conditions. Hello, is there anybody in the building here with us tonight in the new Wellington pub? We've come here today. My name's Luke.
I'm Sophie.
I'm James.
I'm Becky. I'm Jen.
I'm Hayley.
I'm sure you know a lot of people here. You've probably seen them here before. We've come here today because we've heard that people have been experiencing incidences here of strange events, things moving, glasses moving, feeling like someone's here that we can't see. Is there anything you can do at all in here to let us know you're around us? Got some instruments set up in here that will be able to detect you here. There's one in the chair over in the corner.
Volker John, are you here? Do you want to ask? Obviously, he's here.
John, are you here?
Can you let us know? We'd love to talk to you. We've heard a lot about you. There's some things on your chair. If you go up to them, you can let us know that you're here. That's a motion detect dying.
So that's not zeroed.
So that is your...
That'll detect as well. If anything does happen with those, it'll see if I've knocked the table, which I'm away from the middle bit.
Yeah, I can see on mine how close you are to the table, so.
When they had the glasses moving off the table, there wasn't the beer mat things on there, was there? It was just the wood surfaces on the tabletop.
Yeah, I think, yeah, take it off if you want.
Let me have a look.
I'll try that.
I'll let you have that because it's like
So that picks up really clear, like even just putting a glass down. So any little, like the waveform, and that's huge, putting that down.
What is it about glasses in here, glasses on tables that apparently have been moved by themselves and people have seen them move or even smashed? What is... Do you not like them in here? I mean, it is a pub. That's where they go. Were you trying to pick the glasses up? Is that what's happening? You after a drink?
We can pour you a drink if you'd like one.
You paying?
Yeah, okay. Just let us know by touching some of the things that we've set up around here, and then we'll get you a drink. Quite happy to do that.
So I take it when things have happened in here before, it's just been completely normal, hasn't it? It's just been...
The place has been full of people, hasn't
Yeah.
it? So perhaps we should all sit round and pretend we're all having a drink and a laugh.
But that's the thing, it's like the environment it happened, like this is like as much as you need it to be to hear things happen and try and experience anything, but it is quite a clinical environment at the same time, because it's like...
Well, maybe it's the case if we, I mean, like, there's been times before, like we said, when we're not kind of paying attention to it,
Yeah.
and just sitting and talking amongst ourselves. Now that there's fewer people in here, if we're sitting and doing that, we're going to be able to pick up more on stuff that's around, especially now we've got stuff set up. So maybe that's because, maybe it's too much focus on whatever it is.
Yeah.
If we're kind of taking that focus away a bit and just sort of sitting, then it leaves more opportunities for stuff to happen around us.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys ever experienced anything in here?
Well, when I used to lock up on my own, I always thought there was someone around, but I just think that was me being paranoid.
You've been here when the glasses have smashed.
Yeah.
I've seen the glasses. I
Always
mean, glasses
that end.
glasses fall off all the time. But
Always that end of the bar.
that corner there.
Up here.
No, where George is as well.
That's where I felt sick, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I used to feel it like if I'd lock them two doors like down there, I always used to feel like there was I'd always be paranoid there was someone in the pool room, or like I'd panic.
Glasses have fallen off in the ballroom quite a lot. though.
Yeah, they have fallen off.
There's no cameras running around there. But there's the one that's
Yeah, the glasses
Yeah.
fell off the shelf earlier.
Did it?
Yeah.
it'll be underneath the TV in the ballroom.
Georgie, do you want to try some, like, calling out? Because obviously if whoever is here would probably be more used to your voice than like us.
What do you want me to say?
Just anything, just like, you know, ask if there's anyone here or, you know, yeah.
As if you're just chatting to a customer.
Yeah, like, do you want a beer or like, yeah.
I was trying to know how Chelsea getting on this year, that doesn't make him angry.
Yeah, see, stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. Or maybe if you're like behind the bar, do you want a drink, mate? Or something, I don't know, just idea.
Stephen asked why, I mean, you're as curious as to us about the glasses smashing and if there's anyone here.
So far, the night had been very quiet, so Sophie suggested Georgie went to the bar and called out, asking if anybody wanted a drink, in hopes that this would trigger a response.
I can drink it, can't I?
Oh.
He used to tell me that I had to drink it.
Oh, John, you're going to get a drink now.
I reckon
John would love a Heineken.
I haven't quite got enough ice in the bucket, so how John might do
That may have just been one of us because I leant off the table at the same time as you did.
Oh, okay.
So
Maybe that's the table where they want the drinks to go.
John, come and sit down at the table. Or are you going to sit in your corner?
John, if you're here, can you show us in some way where you are when you get your drink brought through? You at the bar, you at the table?
see, that's not me.
Was none. That was no one. Right. So.
No one moved.
So
No
just bring
it up.
one actually moved.
Yeah. So thank you, John.
over there.
John sits over there.
Thank you for letting us know where you're sitting.
He said, get
John,
the
get a Heineken. Oh!
yes.
He said, get the laugh. Get the laugh.
Right. So George is going to bring your drink over now, so you can enjoy it. So just put it down on the table.
Is that okay?
You touch the ball again if you're all right with that drink. Are you happy with it?
If it comes flying at me, I'm suing.
Although the ball lighting up was very strange, especially given the timing with us asking for a response, upon reviewing the footage, we don't believe that this was anything unusual. The ball is designed to flash if it's subjected to any kind of movement, and it remains stationary all evening, not going off at all. A few minutes prior, however, the table it was on was knocked, leading us to believe it could have become unstable, with the smallest of vibrations setting it off. We proceeded to try something that we rarely use on investigations, the Ouija board, as suggested by Becky from the Steeple Bumpstead Ghost Hunters. We also set up a few pieces of equipment around the board to monitor the environment and detect any changes should any words come through.
Okay, so now we've just got to do our personal cleansing. So sit, Jennifer. That was me. What were you burning?
Dragon's blood.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you're burning sage, then the spirits are going to disappear, aren't they?
No, this is dragon's blood.
It's probably a good idea if everyone in this room does this, but it's obviously up to you. Calm your breathing. Just concentrate on each breath going in and out. Okay, so we need to, all of us, just put our fingers very light, as lightly as you possibly can.
No, you're all right.
Almost hovering but touching it. Don't press down at all. And then we're going to spin the planchette. All of us need to do this together. Spin the planchette around the board 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and I'll say the thing as we do it. Okay, ready? We call upon the spirits of this building. We open the door and we invite you to come and communicate with us through this board. Okay, really lightly then. there anyone here with us? Obviously it's up to everyone, but I personally find it's easier if I close my eyes. Now I'm kind of channeling a little bit.
Is that EMF going between 0.3 and 0.4? Yeah.
Anyone here with us? Come through. Come and step forward. Maybe let us know who you are. Can you use our energy? Use the candle's energy. Sorry, that's my boot chair. Oh, that's just gone on.
Yeah, careful.
None of us moved. Okay, thank you. If you just move the ball. Can you maybe try and push this plum chair? Let's know you're here. We know you're there.
Our investigation of the new Wellington pub in Newmarket concluded at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and although I don't personally believe we recorded anything paranormal, it was certainly an interesting night. Now, first of all, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Becky, as well as the Steeple Bumpstead Ghost Hunters who joined us for the evening, and obviously Georgina as well for allowing us to investigate the pub. Now, as I previously mentioned, on that particular investigation, I don't personally believe we either documented or experienced anything paranormal or unusual. However, saying that, it hasn't stopped me certainly believing that there is something unusual going on at the pub. When I initially spoke to Georgie, the thing that she said was the most frequent thing that happens there is items moving, most notably glasses either exploding spontaneously or, you know, being pushed off of shelves. Glasses moving was the biggest thing that happened there. The only other thing that she really said would indicate something unusual was going on is that when she's sort of standing at the bar alone, she'd sometimes feel a breeze brush past her, or feel like someone was there with her. But what really interested me about both of these two things is they're very sort of, especially the things moving, is very characteristic of a poltergeist type haunting. Not to mention, there was nothing else really experienced by anybody. A lot of places that claim to be haunted, you'll have people saying that they've seen shadows moving about, they've seen figures of people, they've heard voices. None of that had been experienced at the new Wellington pub. It all seemed to very much fit into the category of a poltergeist haunting. I certainly think that maybe, if that is what is going on there, that's why we didn't experience anything on the night. I know we were calling out and we were trying to interact with somebody there. Certainly Becky and Georgie hinted that maybe it was one of the former patrons of the pub, or somebody that used to like drinking there. Maybe they were someone that's haunting. I don't believe that, however. I certainly think it seems to be something more psychokinetic going on there. A lot of poltergeist cases that you've seen that have been documented, that the haunting doesn't necessarily have any personality. It's not the soul of somebody, it's not the spirit of somebody, it's just some kind of unnatural force occurring. And that would certainly tie in with everything that's been experienced there. No one's seen anybody, no one's heard someone's voice, it's all been just things moving. And I think maybe that's why we just didn't experience anything on that night. Whatever it is there, maybe the conditions when these events happen is that the pub is lively, it's during the day, there's a lot of people in there, and maybe that's sort of almost the trigger for these unusual events to happen. And like I say, it does really tie in with former instances of poltergeist cases. Now, it's one of those interesting things where people could say, you investigated the pub and you didn't experience anything, therefore the building isn't haunted. I actually think in this instance, it actually gives more credit to it being haunted. The fact that that we didn't experience anything there would indicate that the conditions have to be right for these events to happen. And we were actually speaking to people in the pub at the time whilst we were there, and they were saying, yeah, no, just people that drink there on the regular, and they sort of said, we've quite often seen glasses moving. They actually said that it happened previously in the evening before we got there, that glasses had moved and smashed. And The fact we didn't experience any of that maybe indicates that when these events happen, there has to be a lot of people in the building, it has to be an atmosphere contained within there, and that's what causes these events to happen. So overall, it's a really interesting night, especially trying out new techniques. For example, using the Ouija board that Becky and Steeple Bumpstead Ghost Hunters brought along, something we don't usually do. So it's always nice to sort of go out with other groups and see sort of techniques that they use. And yeah, although we didn't experience anything, it certainly enforces, I believe, that what's going on there is a poltergeist type case. It's psychokinetic energy, it's not related to a spirit or a ghost as we usually perceive them to be. It's more so just some kind of unexplained but very real force of nature.